What's up, everyone? I'm Shafi Malik, and you're listening to the Who Dropped the Popcorn podcast. The premise is simple. One of us picks a film we know the others haven't seen, and we all come together here to discuss it. Joining us tonight is Dave McHugh.
When it comes to house every weekend,
Andy Newlands.
Oh, house is a very, very, very nice house. Nice.
And all the way from the somewhat north of England, Kyle Hammond.
All right, let's Scooby-Doo this shit.
Here's a warning. We'll be going into heavy spoilers for this film, so we suggest you watch the film before listening to this. Also, here's another warning. This film is Japanese, and there'll be a lot of Japanese names that we will probably mispronounce. So apologies if we're going to offend anyone.
Who lives in a house like this, Shafi? Shafi, who lives in a house like this? Why did you choose this film, Shafi?
What were you doing an impression of?
My sort of Lloyd Grossman. That's my horror, Lloyd Grossman.
Why has he got a Welsh accent?
From
Who
through the
lives in a
keyhole.
house
Where's he
like
from?
this, Shafi?
Well, what's your accent? It's Lloyd Grossman here. Who lives in a fucking house like this?
Who lives in a house?
who lives in a
like
house like this?
That was such a good show, that. I really, really wish I could find that show.
No. Well, the funny thing is that the budget of that show kind of declined. So basically, when it came to like the clues, the celebrities that they choose, they're becoming less and less known. So basically, it was more like the person practically came out and they were like, "Oh, who are you?" Actually, like then try to guess who they are.
When the audience were applauding, they were like, I don't actually know if that's right, but I'm going to applaud.
Yeah, exactly. Is it basically a grip that's working behind the stage?
This is far too early in the podcast to go off topic, man.
It's
Jesus.
all right.
Who was the host of that show? It was Lloyd Grossman, but who was the guy in the studio through the keyhole?
Michael.
It was-
David O'Frost.
David Frost.
David
yeah.
Frost, yes.
David Frost,
Legend.
David Frost, yeah. Okay, so
Went from Nixon to that.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say that.
but that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Like he wasn't equipped.
That's where Nixon put him.
So I've chosen 1977's House. So this, funnily enough, as I said last time, this was one of the first films I thought about when we came up with the idea of this podcast, just to see how you guys would react to it. I think there was one point Kyle asked me before we started the podcast, he said, "Are the films you're going to choose really weird?" And I went, "You have no idea." I think this is an example of what could be, how bad it could get. But so yeah, it's just sort of to kind of and it's a shame that I didn't actually get to watch this with Andy, because when we watched Turkey Shoot together, we were just pissing ourselves laughing just at how ridiculous it is. So I think possibly it would have been a much kind of more entertaining experience if me and Andy watched it together. But yeah, it's just basically just to see how you guys react to it. But also I just, I'm not really treating this like some sort of prank to you guys, because I really do think it is like a great piece of like pop art. Like it really is like, it's unlike any other film. Well, there are some, a lot of surreal films out there, but I think this is probably a very notorious one. So I decided to sort of choose this. But yeah, so before I hand it to Andy regarding him doing a recap of this film,
Can't wait for this.
I wanted to ask you guys a general question. This is a question to the group. Has anyone ever seen a ghost? How about you? Let's start with you, Andy.
Yeah, so I can't admit to seeing one, but I believe I've got an audio recording of one.
What the fuck?
Do you not know this story?
No.
So this is mad, this, right? So Jen won't even let me tell this story in front of her anymore. And
okay.
She will shut me down if I'm in a party or something. So
is it because it freaks her out? Why
to,
did she
to the max? Okay. I'll tell you, and then I guess it's sort of I guess shuts me down because she's a mother, right? So basically, when we bought our first house, we Yeah, this is it. The link. I was teaching. You teach the kids to speak, right? So it's all A, B's, and C's, and fucking all the rest of it. So we were
D.
I was one night. Me and Ethan were in his bedroom, completely alone. All the windows were shut. There was only Jen in the house, like really quiet. There was just nothing going on.
So how old is Ethan?
2, 1.5. I don't know. Can't remember. But young. So I've got this thing where I wanted to document, big sort of life things on camera. First time they, go on a skateboard or eat food or whatever. So I was filming this. And when we were doing it, I got to A, and he was like, and I was like, B, and he was like, and all the rest of it. And then I heard something, right? I thought, what the hell is that? So I stopped doing it. When I played the recording back, it literally goes like this. So I'm like, come on, Eve. A, B, and then a voice. I can't explain it. A voice just goes, get out.
What the fuck?
So I was like, what? So I listened to it and freaked out. Listened to it again, and I was like, right. Ethan's like, I think Ethan even fell asleep. It was just A, B, get out. I was like, fuck. So I played it to Jen. She freaked out as well. And then I thought, okay, is it me being mental? I played it to Jen's mum, then I played it to my parents, and all of them can't believe it. I got no explanation for this. And they've all tried to like fucking hell, I think they're actually so scared it's real. They're clutching at straws. Like one of them was like, oh, it was a seagull. And I was like, oh yeah, that seagull that's just come out from fucking Highlands and learned English has told me to get out of my own house. You know what I mean? Like insane.
What was the voice then? What was the voice? Was it like
it was a man's voice?
Or
deep.
Man's
it was
voice.
basically that.
Right.
It's literally it was
Get out.
It was me like, I'll come on Eve, like A, B, get out. C. But at the time of
It's Dave in your
recording,
cupboard, man. That's all it was.
mate. So that's that. So that's
what was the recording device you were using?
Just my mobile phone. So I was lying down with him. I'm recording us. I looked at the video. There's nothing to see, but you can hear it as clear as
it
day.
was video. It was video. Wow.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you probably heard that recording and went, okay, good night, Ethan. Bye. And legged it.
Good luck tonight, mate.
Scared the hell out. So that's the only thing I've ever got.
So do you still have that?
No, I've got rid. I'm so scared of it. This is years ago. I got rid of it. I got rid of the phone.
What the fuck?
I got rid of the phone because of the time, mate.
That could have been analysed by paranormal doctors and stuff.
You could have had them come round to your
There is
house.
such a thing.
I don't want Derek and Cora coming around my house messing with my kids.
Didn't you watch The Conjuring, mate?
No, yeah, honestly, The Conjuring. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I watched it on this opening night. Bloody marvelous. Fabulous picture. That's it. I'm not going to talk about it that much. In fact, I'm going to turn the lights on because it's freaking out.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that was the old house, though, wasn't it? That was a Milady.
Yeah,
farm,
but
right?
it's freaking out.
But your house you're in now is like 400 years old, isn't it?
Oh, I know. Sometimes I do worry about these things.
Yeah.
I can come and bless the house if you want me to.
Anyway, it's probably more scary than the fucking movie.
Okay, how about you, Kyle? Have you ever seen a ghost?
So when my dog died,
Like, no jokes.
I'm not joking.
No, I was walking through my dad's house, and out the corner of my eye, I saw him lying there. But then when I looked, he wasn't there. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably just your brain playing tricks on you. So that's all I think that was. I also saw again. It was probably a dream because I was lying on my bed, but like the other way around. So my head was where my feet would be. And I looked through my door, and in the doorway was
69.
this weird like energy sprite thing. This like silhouette, a black silhouette of like a humanoid, but it was like static electricity, like shaking. And then as soon as I looked at it, it just zipped away, a bit like Reverse Flash, just
Holy shit,
zipped away. But then I just kind of went back to sleep. So it must have been a dream. I don't think it was real.
That could be lucid dreaming, right? You know, lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Is it lucid dreaming where you're?
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
sleep paralysis.
Funny enough, that was going to be one of my answers because although it's not a ghost, like I had sleep paralysis as a kid. Like I remember, I know what it is, so I'm not saying it's a ghost or whatever. But That is one of the most terrifying things that's ever. It's only happened to me properly 3 times. But I remember this was at in Le Puy, just trying. All I remember is trying to scream for my mum, thinking there was a guy in the room. Just in my mind or whatever state I was in. Couldn't get out, couldn't move. It's fucking crap. I'd love to look into how that happens.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I quite like it, as weird as that sounds, in older life. I think it's quite...
Do you want to hear a story about my mum and dad?
Yes. Later. Come on, let's hear it. Yeah, go on.
So when my mum and dad were dating, they had like this little, I don't know what the car was, like a little MG or whatever, and they were they'd heard the story about the valley,
yeah,
the
the measly Porsche, you mean?
It was like an MG Roadster or something, like,
and Kyle was so bitter.
No, get over Dougie. Fucking hell, what's your problem with Dougie?
He still has a full head of hair at 65 years old or whatever he is.
Yeah, fucking goddamn right. So they were going through Waterworks Valley, and like for those of you, there is a story about the bride whose groom was killed in Waterworks Valley in the carriage.
Well, I never knew that.
Look it up, man. It's badass. So they were going through the valley, and as they came around the corner in the middle of the road, they saw these like 2 yellow eyes, like proper Darth Vader. So they're like, my dad was like, I'm not saying he swore or whatever. They slammed on the brakes, like handbrake turn, and like it's just crazy. It's like fucking Bonnie and Clyde type stuff. And my mum was like, no, my God, this is insane. Like we need to see this. Like fucking Steven Spielberg has Close Encounters shit going on here. So he turned around again and went back, and the eyes were still there. So Dougie just crept forward. Yeah, fucking. So they were freaking out, thinking, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? So they turned on the full beams, and it was just a cow. It was a Jersey cow in the middle of the road.
Did the cow turn to them and say, "Get out"? Wow, that's. I thought they're going to be 2 fireflies. That's what I thought.
My mum's had loads of ghost encounters. Like when she was a kid, she remembers vividly, like being at night time, and she woke up and she told her mum something along the lines of, grandma came round last night, and like her mum was like, no, what are you talking about? And then she was like, yeah, no, grandma came into the bedroom, and then they found out that her gran had died that night. There's no explanation for that. So it's like a mad coincidence, and she's just thinking about her or whatever. But and then she swears she saw like this little boy in a castle, and then every time a close relative of my mum's has died, there's been some sort of interaction. But who knows, man? It's crazy. I'm just looking forward to hearing Dave, because I'm sure he's got some crazy stories about wandering around St. John's.
Yeah, okay, so Dave, if you do have a story, could you word it that there's a beginning, middle, and an end? Don't just mumble some details. Mine yet,
man. I was interrupted.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh yeah, actually. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You do have another one. I know.
Yeah.
Keep on going. If you got loads, just keep on saying. Go on.
I didn't see this, but I went to a wedding, and the photographer was doing some photos of the venue in the morning just to test the lighting and test their camera or whatever. And they sent the photos back to the bride and groom, said, look what I found. And I've shown you this before, Andy, because you were freaking out.
No, don't. Oh, fuck, what the fuck?
So let me
do you remember this?
So you can see.
No.
I remember showing all my family this when you sent it.
What,
if you look at, there's some people sat right at the back, like...
Yeah, 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
Is there someone
but doesn't that happen with photos all the time, though?
Yeah, that's what I thought. As in,
so I'm walking down the aisle as well.
Oh, mate, you can see the feet and the dress and the bridal gown.
So did the photographer point it out and say this is weird? Or...
Yeah, so what the fuck is this?
Isn't it just?
So I guess it would have been a digital
old wedding, something like that.
No, but I guess with like when you, I think isn't it when you develop it like from an actual like print, like a negative print?
This is all digital.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's no.
It might still be. But imagine how much they would have freaked people out back in the day when photography first started, and you're getting ghost images, etc., which makes perfect sense now. But back then, you would have fucking lost your shit. You'd have been like, "Wow, look at that ghost that sits behind the back of my head all day." That would have just been so terrifying. Bloody hell!
You had another story, Carl, though, didn't you? Like in your teenage years.
Did I?
Yeah, you used to work at wake up with ectoplasm all over your loading magazines of Gillian Anderson every morning, won't it?
I love that Andy's looking at his notes to read that one out.
That's joke number 1 of 20 jokes that I've written for this show.
That's an Ali G joke, isn't it?
Thanks.
He goes, once I was visited by the ghost of Mariah Carey.
Yes.
And then I woke up and there was ectoplasm all over me.
I'm on the level of Sacha Baron Cohen. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Dave, what about you? Have you ever seen a ghost? No.
No, not really. I saw one of those floating orb things at the cemetery at Brellard's once. And one time in that Holly Cottage that I lived in, I did momentarily see a figure standing over my bed for like a split second.
Okay, so come on. You can't just say, no, not really, and then say a figure was floating over your bed.
That ghost that raped me.
This is what I'm talking about, Dave. Like, as I said, like, tell it like a story, beginning, middle, and end. Don't just go, there's
nothing
Give
to
like
it.
the build
in my
up.
bedroom. What? I was in bed. What's the build up? And it was just for like a split second just standing over me. But I don't think it was real. I just think I was half asleep, half awake.
Yeah, I think that's what mine was. Yeah.
Yeah, and the orb at St. Brellard's, that was just a floating orb, which is kind of real. That's quite a common thing. What, the orb? No.
What's the floating orb then, Dave? Sorry, I don't listen to paranormal podcasts, so which is what this is turning into.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. This is going to put a lot of people off.
Don't snarl, Carl. I think this is actually a great... This is fun.
Fucking outrageous. Learn something.
It's weird. It's just like people say they see it quite a bit. It's like a floating orb, and it is what it sounds like. It's just a circle that floats, and you just see it for a few moments. I did see it.
Isn't that UFO?
It is. No, because it's like you can tell it's only like a few. It's almost like a balloon that's just being dragged by a kid. So it feels like you can tell it's very close to the ground. It's weird, but yeah, that's the only two that I can really think of.
Right. Wow.
And that werewolf I met that time, but apart from that, nothing really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry that I kind of brought this feature up because I guess we're in the middle of summer and probably would have been more appropriate to do this during Halloween, but oh well, there you go.
What about you, Shafi?
I'm just waiting for like something to bite Ewan's neck, just come out from the back.
Oh, fuck off. I'm freaked out because I keep thinking about...
There's so much room behind you, isn't there? You were like so open to attack.
Fuck you, Dave. Don't. I'll be
Honestly, it's mad, isn't it?
I don't like this at all.
Oh no, man. No, don't worry. You're fine. There's nothing.
Like there's a movie about this, isn't there? Like the Social Network, not the Social Network.
Yeah. No. It's
the kids log on and this happens.
It's called Host.
Is it Host?
Yeah.
You should go and get some Watsits and just crumble them all over the floor just in case a serial killer comes in, so you can hear them. I challenge you to not look behind you for the rest of the pod.
I don't like that.
Do you remember what Simon Pegg did on social media? He said he started like some tweets going, there's weird noise coming up from the attic. And then like a few days later he goes, okay, I'm going to go and check it out. And then like a few days later, he starts tweeting like some sort of weird Latin like text and stuff like that, saying like there's a strange. I don't like strangers in my house or something like that. Funny, like a ghost would have grabbed his phone and started tweeting. Anyway,
long form jokes, man. Take commitment, but they're worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, could you care?
No. What about you, Shafi? Have you not seen any ghosts then?
I remember once. Wasn't there like a? Were you there, Dave? When we were out late at night and we were. It was sort of like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in town, and there was like a lady like in a like out a window, and she was just sort of staring at us.
We were like waving
at her.
Yes, mate. Yeah. That well.
Fucking hell!
That was a different.
With a red
No, it was like an old lady.
And then Dave disappeared.
Wayne Rooney over here.
She was just staring, and then we were trying to get her attention, and she just wasn't reacting at all.
No, I think
like waving and stuff.
That was you and Chris.
Right.
It was around the Kensington area.
I think so. Yeah.
I remember you telling me that story. But that just sounds like a nut up more than anything. But that stuff can freak you out sometimes, can't it?
Yeah.
It's just weird, especially at 3 in the morning.
Can I tell you an act story with that I had with Rosta Biazzi, and then you can cut out 80% of my ghost stories?
Yeah, go on.
So I used to go cycling with Rosta Biazzi from my house at the Puy down to the gun site. No, not the gun site. Yes, like St Albans area. So we'd go through Sandy Brook Lane, and we were kids, like ET kids on bikes type of lifestyle, rocking and rolling. And when we go through the path, we saw what looked like police tape. We were like, "Fuck, what's all that about?" So we, as kids, went on a little adventure, and we found an axe, small axe, maybe about the size from your elbow to the tip of your finger. We were really excited because when you're a kid and you're just out and about on bikes and you find an axe, your imagination starts going. So we took it back to my house, and I put it at the end of the garage in a box. So that's and then we went into the house. So the door into my house from the end of the garage is a good, I don't even know, man, 20 foot maybe, something like that. We were in the house for about 10 seconds and we just heard an almighty bang in the garage. We went into the garage and the box where we put the axe was still where it was, but the axe was outside of the door. And me and Ross to this day have no explanation for how it got there. Wow. Even if it fell out of the box, it couldn't have rolled and rolled, it's impossible. But so we took it back to the exact same spot immediately, and then that was the end of it. But again, I have no explanation for it.
And your fingerprints on the murder weapons
still locked away. I'm a wanted man.
One day they'll catch up to you and Ross.
Yeah.
Jesus. Blimey.
Do you remember that BBC faux, fake documentary thing with Michael Parkinson? Was it Ghost Story? Is it Ghost Story?
It was the most advertised Fright Night type thing that had ever been. Like when I was a kid, I remember thinking, "Oh my god, this is going to be the show that takes over the world." It was terrible.
So who watched that live?
I think I did.
Carl, do you know what we're talking about?
No.
What the fuck?
Oh mate, it was so basically up for weeks.
So it was on the night of Halloween, right?
Yeah.
And they were sort of advertising it like it was just some sort of paranormal. We're going to kind of be visiting the spooky house and, call in and tell us your scariest ghost stories. Very sort of lighthearted. And then basically it starts out that way. There's so it's hosted by Michael Parkinson. It's got, who's the person that used to present Going Live with Philip Schofield? Sarah Green. Something? Sarah Green.
Yeah.
Sarah Green was Sarah Green was the person who was actually inside the house, saying that there's some sort of paranormal activities going on in the house. And then basically they created this staged
it's called Ghostwatch.
Ghostwatch, that's it. And so basically the whole house starts basically kind of falling apart, and the kids end up getting possessed and all that. It's basically a proper found footage film, but it's basically live happening. There were so many complaints, kids being kind of scared.
It was mental.
It was fucking it was nuts, the fact that the tone of it was for kids, but then it was scaring the shit out of the living shit out.
What year was that?
1992.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking up the house.
Yeah. I remember Mark was really freaked out. I remember that. The next
Pussy.
I was freaked out as well. It was so fucking nuts.
So Mark started working out.
So basically, sorry to spoil it for you, Kyle. Basically, what happens is that at the end, the whole kind of house starts kind of falling apart and all that stuff. Then in the studio where Michael Parkinson's actually presenting from, that all starts kind of collapsing and then there's loads of noises of cats and stuff. And then Michael Parkinson, the whole screen goes black. And Michael Parkinson starts reciting a poem, and then you hear "wow," and then and then it ends. And that's
Craig Charles was in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
God, I'm genuinely on edge.
Shit, sorry, man.
I need to fucking take a break from this. This is all right.
So, Andy, could you care to recap this film?
Hey, what's that you say? It's Andy's articulate analysis.
Okay, fuck me. House.
This is what I've been looking forward to for so long, by the way. Andy recapping House.
Yeah,
House is mental. House. So basically, this podcast has strengthened my ability to watch films that don't have cars in them, because if if you would have chosen House for the first episode, there'd only be 3 of you. I just wouldn't be doing this. But in a nutshell, what is this film actually about? All right, so there's these Japanese schoolgirls, and one of the girls has lost her mother. Her father starts dating another woman, and this schoolgirl is looking forward to going to some holiday place with her father. Her father invites his new missus, and he hopes the 3 of them can go to this place, and this woman will become the schoolgirl's mother. The schoolgirl is having none of it. She's having none of it. She's like, no, I'm not going. And then she basically wants to reconnect, I guess, with her mother, and she does that by reaching out to who she thinks is her auntie, right? And then I don't know what quite happens. There's this bit in the film where, like, she's sitting on a fountain and you're being introduced to, like, her mate, Kung Fu, Prof, Sweet, Melody, Fantasy, or whoever these chicks are. And they're all talking about, like, this teacher. And so I think they really, really fancy this teacher, Mr. Togo. And basically this girl goes, right, I'll tell you what, ladies, let's all go on holiday together at my auntie's house. So they travel to the auntie's house. But just know when I'm saying, like, even before they get to the house, this film is fucking mental. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, even normal themes, there's, like, just this mental piano music going on all the time. It's like kind of out of sync, but in sync. And then, like, there's, like, pictures of the sky at bus stops that aren't the sky, and it is the sky, and then it's scenery, and then it's just different. It's just absurd, charming visuals. It just makes, like, none of this makes any sense. Anyway.
So, Andy, do you want to describe the moment when Gorgeous is introduced to her mother-in-law, her new mother-in-law? Oh, sorry, stepmother.
Yeah, so...
Let me just interject there quickly. So my version, the main character was called Angel.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You were telling me about that.
Yeah, so I watched it on the... Yeah, Dave, what was yours? Because you watched it on BFI as well, yeah?
Yeah, mine was Angel as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It is Angel.
No, but did you watch the DVD, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, so if you look on IMDb, she's called Gorgeous.
Yeah, in the one you've watched, it's Gorgeous.
I was kind of like thinking, have I missed a character? I was like, wait.
Do you know what? I think I've got Gorgeous from looking up the character names 10 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure.
No. Our version's got Gorgeous. I'm pretty sure it has.
Okay, so so Gorgeous is.
We'll just go with both names, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, Sando. So
we'll call them Angus.
So she gets to the house, and let's just track back a minute here, right? Because there's this cat, right? This white cat from Dr. Gadget or Austin Powers. That's what this cat looks like. It's a big, fluffy cat. And it's kind of, I don't know what the fuck everyone's so cool with this cat. It's like this cat, like, is just in a mailbox, like delivering mail or like opening doors and closing doors because it's a witch's cat. And the next minute, the cat's like sitting on a seat on a train. Like, and the Japanese are all about trains. The Japanese don't fuck about with trains and stuff. They wouldn't allow a cat. So I've got loads of problems with this in itself. Basically, this cat is the central point to this whole madness. So anyway, they get there. Mac, who I thought was called Mac because they were taking a piss out of her for being a bit chubby. Like, I thought it was mac and cheese, but it turns out it's stomach. So she turns up with this watermelon. Fuck, I don't know. There's some guy selling watermelons, and fucking hell, then something happens with bananas later on, which is just ridiculous. So they get to the house. The auntie's in a wheelchair, and then the cat is like, all right, sound. So they go in. They start cleaning the house. The fucking chandelier starts like attacking people, and everyone's cool with that. And then like the kung fu girls like fighting the bits. And then basically, like, over the next hour or so, and oh God, if you haven't seen this movie, I hope this makes sense to you. But the house starts eating people. That's all I can really say, like, through different means. Like, one of the girls goes away, puts a watermelon down the well, and then the next minute, the watermelon is the head of a girl and starts trying to bite the asshole out of one of the other girls. And then
that's Mac's head, right? That's Mac's.
That's Mac's head. Yeah. Then this one girl, I don't know what she's doing. She's gone to get a blanket or something, and then she gets attacked by about 28 futons. Then like the skeleton comes to life, like doing all this dancing stuff. Then this girl, and all the time this film is going from just it's not just a film. It's like it's kind of like people like what someone's on fire at some point. It's like someone's like, but it's not fire. It's just a red face. Like you put those kaleidoscope eye glasses on that you used to have when you were a kid and stuff. Then a piano eats somebody. Things are getting out of control at this point. Then it turns into The Shining. Like the cat is like. The cat turns into like Cybertron or something and keeps like beaming like lasers out of its eyes and like just I don't know what is going on upstairs and like I don't know. Then the auntie goes into a fridge and then like and there's lots of like breaking the fourth wall. And like is auntie looking at me? Is she looking for the camera?
She's winking.
Marijuana? Is she winking at me?
And then she's winking. Then she's winking out of her mouth as well.
Oh, it's just nuts. Anyway, so she then thinks that this guy's going to turn up and save the day, but he goes to the village, meets the guy that's selling watermelons, wants to buy a watermelon. The guy was like, I can't give you this watermelon, but I can give you some bananas. And then he becomes a bunch of bananas. So, that pretty much sums it. My one-word review of this is just bananas. It's just fucking absolutely mental.
It's a good one-word review. That's a good one-word review.
And then basically, because you found out that the reason that this paranormal activity is going on is because I think it's the auntie. If it's not the auntie, it was the woman who lived there. I'm still a bit verdicts out on that. Was waiting for her partner to come back from war because he promised he would, and he didn't. So she eats the souls of beautiful young women to keep her energy levels up or whatever. And that's probably why she's getting out of this wheelchair and getting stronger and stronger all the time. And then the stepmother to be turns up for some fucking reason, sings this song that just goes on and on and on. Like, stop! What the fuck? We don't need a song and dance number here, love. Like, it's not fucking. It's basically this film is essentially Scooby-Doo meets Batman meets Scream meets the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers meets
Batman,
The Shining meets the music video, the fucking Yellow Submarine meets the Karate Kid meets the Sound of Music and meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's all of these things in one.
Summer Holiday by Cliff Richard and Evil Dead 2.
It's just mental. And then basically Angel, or fucking whatever her name is, gorgeous now, sits down at the end because she, I think, is now the main lady of the house or whatever, and kind of ominously says, the girls will all be getting up soon. They'll be hungry, i.e. they're going to eat the stepmother. So there's room for, I don't know if there's a house 2, 3, 4. And that's basically the story. But I cannot convey to you how this story is filmed from a visual. It's mental. It's like there are dancing skeletons. There are things that just shouldn't be put on screen in the 70s when people are on LSD and drugs, because I think a generation were ruined by this movie or made by it. Mad, absolute madness. I thought that film where everything was going all right and then suddenly he went into the bathroom and saw a load of pony people dicks coming out was mental. I thought Buckaroo Banzai was mental. Maybe the werewolf even the Japanese geezer in The Wailing I thought was mental, but all pale into fucking insignificance to the absolute insanity of House. Go and watch it. You need to watch it. You need to experience it. But it is bonkers.
So thanks for that, Candy. That was your reaction is exactly what I wanted. So thank you very much.
And this is Cat. The cat is in it a lot.
Was there any part of you that enjoyed it?
Yeah, there was.
You don't be honest. Be honest. It's okay
there was. So I really, really hated that song at the end because I was ready for. By the end, I was ready for the film to end because it got to the point where I was like, are they just trying to use every single visual technique that existed in film at the end of the 70s? That was my one, because I was really loving it at first. I loved the madness of like, oh, they're at a bus stop, and I thought the hills and the sky were behind them, but actually that's just a poster, and then it like zooms out. I loved all that. The bit where the well was, I want to build that scene and put it in my garden. That's lovely, that, just with the sun going down. Like, I did enjoy, like, just the madness of, like, when they're introducing the characters, like, the little circle, little Brady Bunch thing going on. Like, there were plenty and plenty of just things that I enjoyed about this film. And I think Kyle, kind of, when he started this, the whole Scooby-Doo element, I did enjoy it. But I think because I'm watching it in 2022, it's quite difficult to look at it and appreciate probably how good it is, because there are bits where, like, fucking like when she's like on fire, she's got that red face and stuff, and like when like the piano eating her is just insane, and her legs are kicking like a Monty Python sketch. It's just I've just seen there's too much stuff that's happened past the 70s that I've seen that kind of spoil it a bit for me. But yeah, I didn't hate it. But nor would I go into work though and recommend that people watch it.
Oh, please do. Please could you go into work and recommend, say this is a Tom Cruise undiscovered gem, and then hand it out and see what they say.
It's no whaling.
Okay, cool.
It's better than about 4 films that we've watched in this podcast, I reckon.
That's good. Okay, great. How about you, David? I kind of know what Kyle's opinion is, so I guess, and I'm kind of guessing in my head what Kyle's opinion is. So let's go to you, Dave. What was your opinion in this film?
Yeah, I strangely loved it. Like, what a unique film. And I mean, the special effects were strange and they were kind of unique in their own way. But you got to think, I know it's 1977, but it's really been quite well remastered when you're just looking at them and stuff. It looks great. Yeah. And we're only 2 years off Alien coming out. But yeah, it was mad. Like, I think you could have done the effects practically and had just limbs coming out of pianos and stuff and done it quite well. But I think they know it looked shit even in 1977. It just adds to the carnage and the madness of this film. And yeah, it's just really is just crazy. And it's just wonderfully imaginative. And you can see that it would have inspired a lot of people and stuff to be filmmakers and certainly horror filmmakers. And it's just weird, isn't it? You just think, because you could have a very similar plot like that and make a horror film now, which was so sinister. And you have these sort of 6 kids that come around and they get just torn to pieces in this house. And you could have a really, really dark, like Ring or sort of The Grudge or something like that as well. So I quite like the fact it was so lighthearted, because at no point is it scary, but it's sort of uneasy. It's weird.
It's creepy. As in, even as I was saying to Andy, I was kind of prompting him to talk about it, but he didn't catch on. But even the introduction
Andy,
to the Sorry. So no. But I'm just saying, like, even the introduction to the stepmom is sort of quite creepy. It's quite
you're right.
You know, just the fact she's sort of it's like slow motion and like the sort of like white flowing dress and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, I mean,
it's like soft focus, like a weird like 70s romantic drama, or I don't know, or like a porno.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like 1930s as well, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's just, it's really weird. It just feels like a mad dream that you're sort of living this insane dream that you had one night when you're like, fuck, that was a mental dream. Even as dreams go, that was fucking crazy last night. So just, it's just mad. When you think of like how it evolves.
Who is the cat? Who is the cat? Is the cat possessed? Because the cat's...
Who was the bear? I want to know who the bear was. The bear that was getting some fucking noodles.
Yeah.
Just having some noodles, I guess. But...
Oh, mate,
having some noodles, yeah. You're talking about kind of like the special effects looking cheap and stuff like that. There's like a really good like stop motion part where I can't remember what happens. Like the dude is sort of like, he like falls to the floor or something, and it just looks like all like stop motion.
Yeah, when he's going down the steps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I hated
what was that bit.
About? Yeah. He hated it.
It was like a fucking Carry On film, man. Honestly, I was just like, what is this shit? Carry On karaoke. What the fuck, man? It's like watching Benny Hill shit.
I knew this film was going mental, like when they were on the train. What was that all about? The train became like a fucking cartoon for a minute. Like, what's going on here?
Oh god! So I do want to watch it again. I do want to watch it again.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's why. That's when I first saw it back in like, it was like 2017. I was like, okay, that was fucking weird. But then I was like, I really want to watch it again. I can't wait to watch it again.
Under the influence, though, I think you get more out of it. I genuinely, I'm not.
Yeah, well, that's probably why it's got so popular. It's why it's got a cult following, because I'm pretty sure people do mushrooms while watching this, and
100%.
Because it is sort of like an LSD, like an acid trip. But
well, that's what we're doing. We're doing this for your 40th.
bring it to Kyle to rip this film a new ass.
Here we go.
I don't know why you've done me last, because you don't know about the sandwich, do you? You put the bad stuff in the middle and then you surround it with good stuff. Anyway, but just what I didn't get a chance to reply to Dave. Dave was saying he'd like to see a modern film of this, but we literally watched a film 2 episodes ago which takes the piss out of films like this, where people go to a cabin or a house and start dying.
No, I don't want to see a modern version of it. I'm just saying that you could make a very sinister version of this with the same story, etc. But yeah,
Evil Dead was sort of like that, though, right? Evil Dead was pretty much like that. Yeah, the first Evil Dead film.
Yeah, which is a masterpiece as well.
But yeah, I didn't enjoy this.
So you didn't enjoy it?
No.
Yes, wow. Shafi is pushing our boundaries a bit, isn't he? Don't do this forever.
I'm not doing this forever.
Nah,
just choose a normal film.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
to be honest, I thought all Shafi was going to choose was stuff like this all the time, like weird foreign cinema. But I had no choice but to watch this late at night, and I think it took me 4 attempts to watch the whole thing.
Jesus Christ!
That first act was really, really tasking. Just kept falling asleep. I was just like, what is this weird, like, Asian romantic drama? What is going on? There's all this, like, who are these, like, uwu children that are fucking, oh my God, yeah. At one point, I fell asleep and I woke up and there's a floating head floating around and it bites a girl in the ass. And I was just like,
that's great.
That's one.
No, this is not for me. No, I didn't like it all. To be honest, I thought this, apart from the weird porno music, I thought the soundtrack was pretty cool.
That's why I thought I thought there'd be something you would appreciate in the fact that it's sort of psychedelic and the music's quite psychedelic, but also it sort of harkens back to that 60s. It feels more 60s and 70s. And that's why I thought part of you would appreciate that part, but I guess not.
And I like the poster. But yeah, the actual film. Yeah, the third act was probably the
poster.
I like the poster.
The film review ever. I like the poster.
The third act kept me like engrossed, but the rest of the film, I just like kept falling asleep and just like, this is not for me.
That's just as good as the backhanded compliment as when I asked Andy, what did you prefer, Singing in the Rain or Blood and Simple? You went, Sing in the Rain because it's shorter.
So I actually texted Andy the other day before I'd even finished the film, saying this is one of the worst films I've ever seen. I don't think that now. No, I don't think that now, because the third act kind of gave it some saving grace, but no, I didn't enjoy it really.
Wow. So at what point did it flip the switch? At what point were you like, okay, I'm into this?
Probably when people started dying more regularly, I was like, okay, this is more entertaining. So like the piano bit, I was like, oh, that piano bit's pretty good actually. I thought, yeah, this is all right.
Yeah, it's pretty imaginative, isn't it?
I didn't like it where like all mattresses fall on you and you turn into a doll. What is crap.
The futon fight.
So I mean, we're probably going to point out, I'm probably going to point out something that everyone's probably aware of, but you do realize that this film is the product of a 10-year-old. Yeah. So basically the director basically co-wrote the story with his 10-year-old daughter. So basically, because in a way, I mean, my kids don't watch CBeebies like that often now, but I remember when they were kind of younger, and there'd be stuff like In the Night Garden on, and obviously like Teletubbies and stuff like that. But I was watching it. You watch In the Night Garden, you think a grown up basically. I don't know whether who's seen In the Night Garden here.
Yeah, it's trippy as fuck, man.
If you were transported now to In the Night Garden, and that was your world for the next 12 hours, you'd have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like Dave, I'm guessing you're not aware of In the Night Garden, but it really is like, it's just a load of nonsense. I think the music and the visuals of this film, there's a tone of this film that feels like it's a kid's, like it's in the same ilk as In the Night Garden, but obviously it doesn't have the murdering and all that stuff. And I think that's sort of, once you get to grips with that regarding the stream of consciousness of like the way that the film is made, he probably asked, okay, he probably said to his daughter, okay, his 10-year-old daughter, he said, Studio Toho want us to make like our version of Jaws. So we need to make a scary film. So how about this? I've got 5 characters. They need to go to a cabin. Now, can you tell me what will happen to these girls? I'm pretty sure the 10-year-old girl was like, yeah, and then basically the cat, started dancing on the piano. And then there was a skeleton. And then, and I'm pretty sure that the director was like, right, they'll go, yep, okay, great. Right, well,
it was
that,
a dream.
Sure, no problem, it's fine.
I thought it was the whole thing from her dream, or I don't know, like, is it just a crazy dream when one of those mad ones that you remember perfectly, and if you get it down quite quick?
No, it wasn't a dream. She just wrote it. It's
it's not a dream.
A man turns into a bunch of bananas.
Oh, I see. It wasn't a dream.
I can't get over that.
And then a head floats in the air and bites a man on the bum.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. There's something about that sort of childlike like tone of the film that I think is sort of giving me a bit of patience with it, rather than sort of going, okay, this is getting stupid now.
Right, Andy, did Jen watch this, and what is her opinion of Shafi now?
No, because funny enough, I think Jen's slowly thinking we're all nutcases. Like, not so much you, Carl, because you're not over it, but like she's lived with Dave, so she knows everything. Every time I'm watching something insane, it's linked to Shafi, and I didn't think like she wouldn't be able to handle this. There's no way. Like Jen just would. There's no. Yeah, no chance. No chance.
Imagine watching this with your dad or something. Your dad would be like, what the fuck is this? It's just mad.
Yeah. I watched this in 2 parts, and the second part was literally Jen was out, so I was like, right, turn the lights down, and watched it. But yeah, I'd be amazed if any couple have ever watched this together on a romantic date night in England.
I'm pretty sure if they got high, they would probably watch it.
Well, actually, great point. I do agree.
The only people that like this film are people that are high or with a pencil moustache going, yes, the art direction is amazing in this film.
Well, then that's me. I don't have a little pencil moustache. That's me then. But okay, well, as I said, I knew this would make people feel a bit uncomfortable. So thanks, Kyle, for enduring it.
Yeah, well, it took me 4 nights, but yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Some of the visual effects were pretty cool, though. Andy said he didn't like it, but I did quite like when her face turned into a jigsaw and fell apart. There's like a fire behind it. Like, how did they do that? Like back in the 70s?
Yeah, no, it's not that I don't like it. It's just there was too much going on all the time at the end. I didn't know what it was. Is it a Monty Python sketch? What the fuck is going on in this movie? And why the fuck is this cat? What is this cat doing with its green eyes all the time? No one explains this cat. It's like the werewolf in that film with Lindsay. No one explains what this cat is all about.
Don't worry about it. How did the girl get killed by the clock as well? She was just suddenly in the clock, wasn't she? And then there's sort of like blood melting out of the clock.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Which girl was that?
Who appears in the clock? I can't remember now. Is it
Prof, wasn't it?
Was it
Melody gets eaten by the piano?
Yeah.
Angel is obviously still alive at the end. Then what happens to Kung Fu?
The Kung Fu girl gets electrocuted.
A 20-minute fight with the telephone at one point as well. The telephone comes to life.
Kung Fu gets chopped in half and her legs come out flying, start kicking.
Yeah.
But she's like, it's like electrocuted by the lamp.
And it kicks the cat, doesn't it? And then all the blood comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but that girl just sort of ends up in a clock for a bit. And it's
I thought Prof dies right at the end, isn't she? Isn't she one of the last final people?
Yeah, Prof drowns in the water and gets eaten by that kind of weird tin thing with teeth, and then she melts in the blood. Bloody hell!
This is what I mean. Like, you can't. Nobody who's listening to this will get any idea of how mad this film is. Like, listen to what Dave's just said. Prof gets killed by the mad tin thing with teeth, like,
and then melts in the house blood. Yeah,
there's so much madness going on here. Like, I'll tell you what was cool, that end scene where like Angel opens the sliding doors, like the house kind of reopens after night time, and then she's like, well, that was fucking badass.
That was really weird. It's really slow as well. Like, this went ages just on one shot, just showing her.
Yeah, that was freaking me out, because I was just like, whoa. Even though you look mental as well, don't go into this house. Yeah, it's a bad move. Fuck me.
I didn't get why they all love that teacher. They're all obsessed with that teacher. This like Minger teacher is fucking weird.
It's just the thing. He looks like some fat 50-year-old janitor from the school, Mr. Toga.
He's got like massive like Massive fucking sideburns.
Yeah, Wolverine sideburns.
Yeah, it was the 70s, mate. That was the look.
But isn't it Fancy that just fancies him? I don't think there's anyone else, is it?
Yeah, you're probably right there, actually. So yeah, man. Oh, fuck me. so mental.
So let me ask you guys a question. If all four of us, because the characters' names are basically they're like connotations of what they're best at. So Melody, she's a musician. Mac is the one that kind of eats a lot and all that stuff. So if all four of us,
Mac is well fat. Oh my god, she was so obese.
I know, yeah.
Disgusting.
I think it's more that she just ate a lot.
I think she's probably fat in Japanese culture, but obviously in Western culture, she's actually fucking thin.
Well, that's because the director used to direct advertisements. So all the models that he was using for his advertisements were all cast in this film.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So they were models, basically, all Japanese models.
Oh, yeah, because there was a bit of nudity, wasn't there, as well? I forgot about that.
See, that again is just, how can we make this more pretentious? Let's have some non-sexual boobs.
But if all four of us went to a house like this, what would our character names be?
Well, I'd just be Sexy Dave.
Kyle would be the RocknRolla. Dave would be the Landlord. Shafi would be the Critic, and I'd be Funboy.
Yeah, that's spot on. Nice.
What? Dave's the Landlord?
Yeah, Dave's the Landlord because he's always in a pub. Kyle's the RocknRolla because he's been in a band. You're the Critic because you're like a good film critic and all the rest of it. And I can't really give myself a nickname, so I've just got to go with the one I heard before.
Funboy.
RocknRolla, the Landlord, the Critic, and Funboy enter the house, the Roseville Street, and go in all the mad rooms.
Let's make our own film. Or just go bowling with these names one night, one or the other. Interesting.
Anything?
But that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's
Is that it?
There's nothing.
Well, you could be the Taxman, chap. Actually, get rid of the Critic. Be the Taxman. That's more badass.
Taxman. That's fine. Taxman.
These also sound like our wrestling. Remember there's that podcast not work out.
Remember there's that wrestler called the IRS.
Yeah, man. Owen R. Shyster.
I forgot that's his full name.
Shit,
yeah.
That's not.
I can't believe you remember that.
209 pounds, 6'2".
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, what was everyone's favourite kill then? Dave? What was your favourite kill?
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
I guess. Let's go with the Kung Fu kill. Why not? That's pretty cool. Well, it's the piano, isn't it? I'm trying not to say the piano, but we're all just going to say the piano. So
let's not say the piano then. Let's not say the piano. I'm going to say where Auntie is just like set on fire at the end. Is that some weird callback to like nuclear Japan? I'm guessing so. Yeah. Shafi's giving me the thumbs up. Everyone,
check out the big brain on Kyle.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? What's your favourite kill?
I didn't like the piano bit because it was just by this point I was just visualed out, so didn't like that. The kung fu bit, I still don't get this. Like everyone's like, "Oh, well done, you killed the cat. You killed the cat," but this cat is still alive. You didn't kill the cat. You just chopped your leg off and hit a poster or something. So I actually like the bit where Angel transformed. So I don't think she died, but she kind of transformed into this weird geisha type. Like she wasn't Angel anymore. She was dead. You know what I mean? And then she started dressing in white. So that bit where she
becomes the auntie, doesn't she?
Yeah, where she was, God, that bit as well. She's fucking getting ready in the mirror. And then like you say, Carl, like her reflection is not her reflection. It's just mad for about 5 minutes. So
what
about you, Shafi?
I really like the mattresses. That's what I liked.
Futon. Death by Futon, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was brilliant. It was mad. It was really intense.
Some mental IKEA scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love how old school it is. What I found quite funny was when the dad introduces the Angel to it. It's like, "Oh, here's your new mum." For starters, and it's like she a jewelry designer, but she could cook really well as well.
I know.
It's just like, what the fuck?
I was like, you won't need to cook for me anymore. And like the stepmom's probably like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, just one thing I put was one of the girls says, "What a strange landscape! It feels like we're in another world." I'm just thinking, yeah, it's because the background is drawn in pencil.
As they're walking around. I better read this thing, and you can edit this in. So, right, it's my best Shafi voice. Okay.
Ooh.
Much of what Western audiences might find weird about the film comes from certain Japanese perspectives, making it more incomprehensible than odd. For example, in the mythology of the various Japanese spirits known as yokai, there is a type known as Tsusukogami, where antique household objects such as forks, spoons, or musical instruments, etc., come to life after 100 years.
Wow.
Seeing the characters engaging, therefore, in a karate battle with household objects is less understandable as a plot unless you know a little bit more about yokai. So look up yokai, then watch House.
That's very good. Is that your writing, or is it just like an excerpt you've kind of got from an essay or something?
I had a premonition 2/3 into this film about Japanese mythology and channeled one of the spirit gods, and this is what turned up on the paper. I was as surprised as you were.
I think, yeah. Anything else, or?
I'm just glad it's not your go for a while.
Well, I'm not. I'm good. You know, I'm going to be sort of easier on you guys. I think this is probably
no. Go harder.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's reasons like this why I love this podcast, because I just wouldn't watch films like this. So fair play to you.
It was mad. This was on my list to watch, and I don't really know why I found it. I was searching old Japanese horror actually, but
it's just on that list.
Yeah,
that you had during lockdown.
Well, no, like maybe sort of, but obviously I gave up on that nonsense. But yeah,
how's that list going?
No, it's dead. It's just basically there's a few hundred films that I need to get around to watching one day. I'm just doing it as and when. But yeah, House was on it. I'm really glad I've seen this film, because it's just, when you see the stills of it, you're just like, what the fuck? No,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
When they're like the blue faces in the background, and it's just like, funny.
Why do the bus stops have like the landscape? And they've got like signing on it, move to the country and get married. Like, it's just, what the fuck? Like, what is going on in this movie?
I like the way you're asking us these questions. We don't know. But what about the cat? The cat? I don't know, Andy. I
still don't understand the cat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What genre is this then? Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a hot? What is it, man? It's
they basically
all over the place, wasn't it?
Studio Toho basically wanted to make their own version of Jaws, and then they went up to this kind of art-based director and said, "Can you make like a horror film for us?" Right. And this was. But instead, he asked his 10-year-old daughter to kind of co-write the film with him. So
he's definitely on drugs. Definitely on drugs.
So basically, this is the point where I'm going to tell Kyle he's wrong. Yeah. So I put out the question: what everybody thought about this film, and put it out on Twitter. We got a response from Kick-Ass Vargas. He's kind of commented on our show before. He's kind of like a great kind of stunt person to be. If you kind of follow him on Twitter, you see kind of a lot of his training videos. So it's a future star in the making. But he said, "Oh man, if a trip on shrooms was a film, this would be it. Kung Fu is my goat. It's one of the best horror films ever. And visually, it's on another level to this day. What a glorious use of set and costume design."
Wow, awesome.
Has this guy seen Transformers? Like, visually to this day? I'm not sure about that.
The sister of the podcast, Lindsay, she has responded saying, "It's been a while and it was late at night, but I still sometimes get images of cats and pianos just flash before. This is the perfect movie to watch at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's so true. I wish I'd watched. Yeah, it does feel like a mad night, like really deep into night time, doesn't it? Where you're dreaming anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, you're sort of like, you kind of put on the TV kind of very late. And you're like, what the fuck is this? No, I'm guessing I'm the only person awake in the world watching this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And you're waiting to talk to people about it the next day, and everyone's like, I wasn't awake at 3 a.m. Oh, yeah. Fucking hell. And then you doubt, did you even watch it?
Our good friend Matt Bledsoe at MattBled87 said legitimately one of the craziest films I've ever seen. Haha. Which, Lindsay responded saying, yeah, it's pure insanity. And the librarian, at the librarian, which is LYBRARIAN, he responded saying, oh man, yeah, I love Hausu. Watched the live action Uzumaki the other day, and I got Hausu vibes from how goofy it got. So, yeah, great. I think that's everyone. Yeah, that's everyone. So, yeah. So all thumbs up from everyone except Kyle. Should we go to one-word reviews then?
Yes, please.
It's the one-word review. The one-word review. The one-word review from us to you.
Except for Dave, who says, it's the best.
Let's get the bad ones out of the way. So, Kyle, what's your one-word review? It's shit.
Pretentious crap.
Whoa!
Wow. Pussycat, I love you.
God, this is probably because I don't think you've really slagged off a film as much as this one, right?
This is my least favourite.
It's probably the worst
what we've done so far. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. What's that? 27 films.
Even Blood Simple and that Texas shit.
Everyone likes Blood Simple except you, but not.
Well, to be honest, it's only my choices that Kyle hasn't liked.
I thought Texas was all right. And to be honest, I didn't like two of my own choices, which is Buckaroo Banzai and the Nicolas Cage one, whatever that was.
Free Willy.
Oh, God, yeah, the fucking
Willy's Wonderland, yeah.
The only film I've disliked out of our whole selection is Dune. That's it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, for me, it's only Ford versus Ferrari.
I didn't like Blood Simple, Texas, Singing in the Rain.
Thing is, though, Shafi, you've got a legitimate reason not to like Dune. I'm just being giddy. This is just not my thing.
No, but I even the whole representation, all that stuff. Like, I still didn't enjoy it. I was like watching it, thinking, God, when's this going to fucking end? It's like, so, I was so bored. But anyway, how about you, Andy? What's your one-word review?
Bananas.
Bananas. BANANAS. And how about you, Dave? What's your one-word review?
Bananas in pajamas, I guess.
You guys are just not bothered, are you? Fantastic.
I liked it. I thought it was all right.
I liked it. I'm so pleased to have watched this film. So it's difficult. It's mental. I can't say it's fucking mental again. I always say that as my one-word review. So I've gone for Bananas in pajamas.
Okay, cool, great. So thank you very much. That is our talk of House 1977. Thank you very much, Kyle, for being patient and enduring through it. And
thank you to Senpai Shafi for educating us with foreign cinema. Thank you.
Senpai. Okay, cool. All right. So the next film on the roster is Andy's choice. So Andy, it's we're on to, I don't know, we're on to the 7th round now, maybe 6th. Andy, yes, so it's going to be your choice for the next movie. Let us know what film you have chosen.
All right, motherfuckers, I can't watch any more 70s or 80s stuff for a while. So I was like racking my brains. What am I going to get these legends to watch? So about a week ago, I was walking through London. I was walking through Leicester Square, and I saw the premiere being built for a film, and it looked insane. I remembered Shafi sending me a trailer a while ago and jizzing his pants over it. So
I'm hoping, if it's the film, I think I'm going to be watching it next week with Will. But yeah, go on.
Well, fantastic. Well, add me and Dave to that. So
wow, let's get Will on the show.
I would really like to get him on the show.
Yeah, it was great. I saw the red carpet was being built. The posters were at the studio was there. It was just the magic of the movies is back. Well done, Tom Cruise. You've saved cinema, and now it's back. So we're going to be watching, thanks to Tom Cruise, a film to be released the next few weeks called Nope.
Fantastic. Okay, so Kyle, send us home.
Cool. Get in touch with us, please. Any questions, comments, praise, hate mail, or one-word reviews to the Popcorn Postbag at whodroppedthepopcorn@gmail.com, or follow, harass us on Twitter at whopopcorn, or on Instagram and TikTok at Who Dropped the Popcorn. You can also leave a review on your podcast app, and please remember to like and subscribe. You've been listening to Who Dropped the Popcorn. Really appreciate it. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.